Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, making some really good trades as per usual. And let's get right into it. Right now, the markets had a bit of a pause day today. Not too much price action happening. I'm not too surprised given the massive run that we've had in the S&P 500 index, and we are once again going to be reviewing the bullish case and the bearish case. But we're going to be more focusing on the small caps today, and a lot of people have been giving Michael A. Gade a lot of shit on Twitter. I don't know why, because he's 100% correct when he's talking about the small caps leading the markets, because that's where speculative money goes. And right now, you can tell that speculative money that's not in the market at the moment. Looking at the monthly time frame on Market Cipher, you can see a huge reduction in green money flow. It's about to flip into the red side on the IWM. And again, this is something I've been talking about for a while too, but we'll have to see if this plays out and if the monthly time frame confirms and extends further down. We don't get me wrong, we've had a tremendous rally off the lows from 163 to all the way up to 181 today. I think we will hit 181 and 74 cents and change. Essentially an 11% rally in 13 bars, which is absolutely insane. It's a face ripping rally. A lot of people are calling this the new bull market. I would like to see the small caps lead the new bull market, but right now it's the mega caps that are leading it. And I mean, if we are getting into the new bull market, right, we gotta always think about like what is gonna happen, right, in the bull market. Is Microsoft gonna keep pushing up to 400-500? How much capital are we gonna need to keep this money train going, right? Google has had a break of a very big rising wedge, and Meta as well is coming up to retest this upsloping trend line. I don't even know if it touched it yet. No, I don't think it did. It could technically come up a little bit more. And NVIDIA is right now actually had a down day. Oh no, I mean, like, NVIDIA has been the darling, the pumper. It's been up how many bars in a row now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's been up 10 bars in a row. It was going for its 11th day, but it did fail. Unfortunately, it got a bit of a pullback. And this red candle that you see here is still a green day on the day overall, because it was a gap up, right? We gapped up significantly. We gapped up like 1.98% in one single day. But overall, we are very extended, and we are due for a pullback. It's just going to be when is that pullback going to happen? Right now, Apple almost extended its wave 2 higher than the wave 1, and it almost invalidated it, I believe, almost by like a few pennies, and it just couldn't do it, and it came back in. The IWM, again, once created a very big topping tail today. It entered my supply zone. We'll have to see if this is the beginning of a bigger pullback, or if this is going to extend a little bit further into the resistance and try, and attempt a breakout. But we'll have to take it day by day. Right now, I'm not seeing any selling from the whales on the shorter term time frames as far as the 1 hour, but I am seeing a significant amount of selling on the futures and the other charts that I trade 24/7. So I didn't see it on the EDF today, but maybe we got some dark pool trades that flew under the radar. And we're seeing institutions unloading into this massive rally in the small caps. And we could tell here in the NASDAQ, similar situation. Lots of selling at the highs today. I mean, a lot. Like, this was a 1, 2, 3 in a row in one single day. And then same thing for the S&P 500, even more on the S&P, on the futures, and on the Owenda chart as well. And the Dow Jones, something very similar as well. So again, we're getting extended into here. And again, you got to be asking yourself, if you're buying up here, what more upside are you looking for? Are you looking for for this to run to 4,600? Are you looking for another 2 more percent? Because if you were buying here, right, and or you were looking for 4,500, then you got your 2%. If you're buying up here, you got to have a target, right? Are you just FOMOing in? Are you letting your emotions get the best of you? You got to ask yourself these questions before entering a trade, right? So again, right now, what I see on the small caps is that we could potentially be finished here in the markets. Maybe we'll start our next leg down. And our pullback, the pullback is going to be telling us what's going to be happening, right? The next pullback that we get is going to tell us to see if we're going to hold these levels, these gap fills, or if we're even going to get to them. Maybe we'll get a very shallow wave too, and we'll retest this trend line, and it'll be off to the races to make new all-time highs. I just don't see that happening right now, but anything can happen, right? That's why we always got to keep an open mind about what the markets can do and cannot do. And I mean, the markets can almost do anything. As we could probably tell, we've had a face ripping rally off the lows. The shorts got blasted during this rally, and now we'll have to see if the longs get blasted, right? Because right now we got a face ripping rally. We'll have to see if we get a big dump to wipe out the longs now. But that doesn't always happen. Let's take a look at the triple Qs as well. So the triple Qs today, the Nasdaq essentially almost hit the double top. I think they did hit the double top. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. No, they didn't hit the double top, but they got pretty damn close to it, I would say. I mean, like, close enough for government work, right? So overall, if the Nasdaq can't keep pushing up, then it's going to have to start to come back down at one point. And once it does, I mean, you've created so many gaps now. You've had such a tremendous rally that it would really astonish me that you would just keep going up in a straight line. And it can do that, don't get me wrong. I do have a target at 410. If we do burst out of here and we just keep, mooning like we've been in the last couple of days, but we'll see. We'll see, right? Anything can happen. I'm obviously not betting on the scenario that we can keep going up. Some people are. Some people are like laughing since the lows because they think it's never going to end, right? And I don't blame them, right? They're euphoric. It almost seems like it's never going to end, but all things do come to an end. And we'll take a look at some individual stocks in just a moment. But overall, yeah, I know what we didn't catch this pop here. We were trying to short it, and obviously we got stopped out. But that's just the nature of the beast, and that's the way the market goes, right? You could make your bets, and sometimes you'll get paid if you get it right, and sometimes you'll get the left on the side of the road if you get it wrong. And then again, I'm really stressing on the pullback because it's going to dictate if this is an ABC correction, and if we're just going to head into a wave 3 of wave 5, which would be the final push to a nominal high to around 510 to 540. And then you also have this situation where this could have been an ABC, which I like it much more to be an ABC than 5 waves up, and then we would come back down in a 5-wave move, and then I would really want to catch the 3 of 3, which would be the dramatic sell-off, right? So which means the next pullback we get is just going to bounce up and it's going to fail, and then once it fails, that's when we'll get a dramatic sell-off, right? So again, we'll have to see. We'll take it day by day. Right now, the markets are starting to run out of juice. Microsoft is sitting near all-time highs, or if not at all-time highs, at the 369. We hit this upsloping trend line here. I think we're still forming bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, and maybe even on the monthly time frame. We made a new all-time high here, right? And we're still all the way down here. The stochastics look like they're about to reset and go lower, but again, anything can happen. Right, the daily looks done. The weekly looks like it's got a little bit more juice, but maybe it just needs to close out the week here, and then next week we'll get some fireworks. But anything can happen. Let's take a look at PayPal here. So PayPal had an amazing day today. It was up over 3%, I believe, at one point. It came back just a little bit, but it should be on its way to $61. 58, like I said earlier, was going to be a little bit of resistance, and I'm not surprised that we got some resistance here. But overall, the $60 to $61 target remains my goal for the time being. Maybe once we get there, we'll try and play a short. And again, I usually like these targets as well that that match up with my fib levels. And when they come in between the 1 and the 2, and then you got a kind of a beautiful level right here, right between the 1 and the 2. So right around this level, the max upside that I would see would be 61, 61.88. So again, PayPal's on its way to the promised lands. All right, good news there. Let's take a look at NVIDIA right now. So NVIDIA got its down day here. A pretty nice little down day as well, I would say. We'll have to see if we see some follow through, if it's the beginning of the rollovers. The stochastics are extended on the daily. The 4-hour has already started to roll. The 45-minute looks like it's done, but it could just be bouncing, and then it could remain low for a very long period of time. And it could chop. It could be it can do a lot of backing and filling. You can see on the way up, we were remaining in these high levels of stochastics for a long period of time, and we can even come down very sharply, but almost get no pullback. So maybe we can get a big bounce in the stochastics, right? But almost no upside, and then it just resets and it keeps going lower and lower and lower. Okay. We got NVIDIA earnings too coming up soon, very soon, November 21st. So next week, Tuesday, we're going to NVIDIA earnings. Some people are stressing now, right? It's earnings seasons for the mega caps still. And then let's take a look here at ROKU. ROKU had a nice little update today as well, participating in some more upside. Again, probably, lagging the mega caps. All the smaller cap companies are getting their day in the sun now after the mega caps kind of take a bit of a break. So ROKU should be on its way here to around the $100 mark, and we'll have to see if it can get up there. I think I do have an upsloping trend line target as well that it could technically slingshot to, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it. All right, I would play it safe right around here. ROKU could start to see some resistance right around 102 to $100 level. Okay, let me just take a look at the subwaves here. Maybe we can do a smaller count to see where we're at inside the count. So if the C wave ended here, then I think you're in your third wave right now. You might be in your third wave. So 1, 3, maybe you're getting into your fifth wave. Maybe this was the wave 4 here. I'd have to get even on the smaller time frames, maybe the 15-minute. So yeah, you might. I don't know if I like this for a fourth wave. I think the third wave might still be in play, which means you still have room for something like this, right? And then you can do something like that. But again, I'm not a prophet. just take this analysis with a grain of salt when you're taking a look at the markets. Okay. All right. Let me cover a little bit more here. I'll be covering the market cipher on the SPY here, and then I'll do the Nasdaq and the Russell and the diamonds. So right now, Elliott wave indicator is showing us that this is a B wave high, and we're gonna pull back into a C wave down to the $400 levels, and at the max it would be around the 370s, around the 1.618. I don't know about this pattern. I like my count much more, but again, maybe I'm not perfect, right? Maybe I'm seeing something the indicator doesn't, but the indicator is also not perfect as well. All right, so that's something important to know. I think what we have in line in the same thing as the indicator would be the monthly pattern, where this is an extended B wave and we're coming back down into a C leg, right? And the month isn't over. We still got 14 days to go. You could see how fast things can shift, right? In 14 days, we rallied 12% in the S&P. And in 14 days, we'll have to see if we dump down 14%, right? Or if we keep mooning another 14%. And then we make new all-time highs, right? A lot of things going to happen. But overall, the bearish trend on the monthly is still very bearish. The weekly is definitely firming up here with that green dot and another high in this week. So next week's candle could even be even better. The daily time frame cutting back into the green money flow almost. But we'll have to see if we get a bit of a red dot confirmation around the highs here. Let me get on some smaller time frames. Maybe the 6-hour or the 4-hour is showing us a potential top. So yeah, maybe we'll get a red dot tomorrow and we'll start a retrace, and we'll consolidate, and we'll see if these momentum waves can sustain and keep going higher, or if it's just going to fall apart. Right? Though right now the Russell 2000, I know this is the overnight market and it doesn't matter. It doesn't account for too much because what matters is how they open and how they close. And right now the Russell is down 38 basis points, and the Nasdaq is down 28, and then it gets smaller and smaller as you move up. So overall, that's about it for the S&P. I don't see much more. Taking a look at the daily, taking a look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs should be, if they keep going the way they're going, they should be on their way to the 410 area, which is why I've marked it on the triple Q area right here. which is another secondary target. If the triple Qs want to keep moving, then that would be the target. If they don't and they just start to fail here, then the monthly pattern, not this one right here. I think we have a different monthly pattern, maybe on this chart or this chart. Actually, I think the Nasdaq is the only one on the monthly time frame that just wants to go to new all-time highs. Actually, maybe I got that wrong. But overall, I think it's gonna follow the indices. If the S&P and the IWM start to break lower, then it's just it won't be able to hold that up forever, right? It's a little bit, fairy tales and dreams if you think the Russell's gonna collapse and fall apart, and you think that the Nasdaq will just keep going up, right? But yeah, overall, 410 should be the area where it starts to maybe top out. Again, it's another 6% away. We'll have to see if they can do that. Let's take a look at the IWM. I think we already covered it on the monthly. We could take a look at the weekly. Weekly, we got that green dot and then a bit of a bounce and a huge rally. We'll have to see if we see follow through or if this topping tail is it for the IWM and it starts to roll over. Again, this was my target already for wave 2. It should be finished here, and if it does start to come back down, then we'll see once we get confirmation of the first wave down. Okay, so if this is the beginning of the first wave, we need to see some impulsiveness. We need to see 5 waves down, something like this, right? We need to see 5 waves down, and then a bounce back up at an ABC, maybe back up to 176, and then a wave 3, which would take out this pivot right around 162 and start to head to our target to run right around 155. After that, maybe we'll back test and we'll come back up and retest it as resistance, and it will come down in a 5th wave of a wave 3, right? Or maybe this 3rd wave extends, right? Maybe I'm wrong about 155 and it goes straight down and it's a 3 of 3, which are usually the most violent waves, the most impulsive waves, right? A wave 3 of a wave 3. Okay, I think that covers it now. Let me take a look at the diamonds. So again, a very similar situation for the Dow Jones, essentially with the entire markets on this entire rally, but it should be finished here on the monthly time frame. Set to go lower. Weekly, showing that we could pump up more, but I don't see any Elliott wave indicators, not showing anything here, and I don't really see anything myself for the Dow Jones. If anything, you'll come back up and retest this resistance around 356. But you just need to keep, you need to stay in the stratosphere, right? You can't let up. You can't let the momentum be lost, and you just got to keep pumping straight up, which means you got to go like another 3 to 2% in another 2 weeks, right? You just got to keep going up. It's not that much, to be honest. Asking for another 2% in the Dow Jones, is it? Right? I mean, we've come up so fast, so quickly. Right, it's not that tall of an order now. We're not that far away. Looking at the daily, daily looks good. Should see some more upside. 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour time frame actually showing a potential B wave top, but we'll have to see a confirmation with a red dot and to see some follow through in the price. If it just chops around, maybe we won't see anything at all. Okay, but yeah, overall I've been covering. Lots of but like big money is selling into this, and you don't get fooled. Whoever was selling into this were the dumb ones, right? Because big money was buying, and same thing here. But now that we're rallying up, don't be fooled that big money is buying here. They are selling, right? Same thing for the Qs and same thing for the IWM, except it's not showing on the IWM. You got to go to the Russell 2000. Maybe it's because IWM doesn't have as much volume, and we have to go on the smaller time frames, because when I do check the smaller time frames, I think we like on a 5-minute or something, we are getting a bunch of selling here. But I don't like to look at the 5-minute. The very least, I would go on the 1 hour or the 45. But yeah, you guys get the picture, right? Diamonds, same thing. They're selling at the highs. But yeah. Anyways, you guys kind of know where I'm positioned in the markets. We'll have to see in the coming days if everything plays out. If not, I'll set some alerts and I'll let everyone know what I'm going to do next. But overall, if the dollar keeps coming up, then it'll be pressure on equities. But right now, the dollar's had a tremendous move down. It should go a little bit lower, maybe back down to retest the 200 right around 103 to 103.5. The mean of this channel is right around 103.4, 103.5. So I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar gets one more, drop towards the downside here, and then find some support and try to bounce back up. Okay, as everyone thinks the dollar is finished now after this big move down, and I don't blame them. Right, it's a very dramatic move. Okay, nat gas again. I'm very bullish on nat gas, but not so many people are. It's a very long-term trade. Very short. It's going to take a lot of backing and filling, but overall the trend is going to be good, and we're gonna see some more upside. And oil. So this is something I want to talk about it too. Is that oil right now? A lot of people are very bullish on the economy, and they're rightfully so. It's always good to be optimistic about things, but right now what we're starting to see in oil is we're seeing demand problems, and we got that from earnings from the big those big companies that report, and we're starting to see that oil is really struggling here. And if it does break this upsloping trend line, then I think you might start to see a bit of a panic in the markets. I think this might grab people's attention when oil starts to drop very quickly in a dramatic fashion. People may start to look at it and be like, why is oil dropping so much? Right? Because if you want a bullish economy, you want to see demand, right? You want to see oil constantly going up, right? With the growth of the economy. Because right now people are talking about there's not even going to be a landing. We went from hard landing to soft landing to no landing. So now there's like no landing, and everyone's like agreeing, like, yeah, that's it. Everything's fine. Don't look at oil. We're just gonna keep going up. But if oil starts to break down, right, this two-wave move this three-wave move that we already got here, this is quite bullish, right? Because this is deflationary, helps the CPI. But if it keeps going lower and lower and lower, now we're talking recession here, right? Now we're talking the R word, and it's dangerous, right? Maybe we're inside the third wave, and I just miscounted everything, right? Maybe I gotta make my three waves a little bit better. But overall, I think if this is the fourth wave, then you're in your final fifth wave, and it could go down to 65 again, right? And we don't want oil that low, because then it kind of spews out that we got demand problems. So I would be very bearish oil if it wasn't for these geopolitical conditions. But yeah, overall, oil looks like it's topped out in its X wave, and it should be headed lower. All right, guys, I'll give you guys another update tomorrow. Stay tuned. Peace.